Let's unpack this with a Professor of Security and Diplomacy at Curtin University in Melbourne, Joe Siracusa. Prof, always good to speak to you. So even before this voting took place, there was speculation McCarthy wouldn't actually get the number of votes he needed. How's he now going to get those who are holding out on his side, and can he do it?
Lovely to be here. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to tell you a little secret. The United States Congress is broken. Kevin McCarthy, who represents the majority of Republicans in the who run the House of Representatives, from which all money bills originate, plus other things, cannot organize a majority vote. You know, this is about the only time in the American election cycle where Congress, House of Representatives, acts like a parliamentary democracy, where you have to round up votes. So you got 20 hardliners. Now, it's hard to imagine people who are to the right of McCarthy. He seems pretty right to me. And he's got a number of hardliners, the old Freedom Party caucus, the Freedom Caucus, who they want balanced budgets and they want federal programs reined in and that kind of thing. They're putting all this pressure on McCarthy. They want to say, for example, that one or two people can vacate his chair if they don't like what he does down the road. So what we have is we have a House of Representatives which is paralyzed, disoriented, and disorganized. And so it looks like he's going to have to make a lot of concessions to make himself precarious down the road. Now, this is the first time in 100 years a majority leader hasn't been able to get a majority vote. And this is pretty typical of American politics the last 10 or 15 years. American politics has been divided, Republicans and Democrats, and now Republicans against Republicans. I'm not too surprised, as a matter of fact, but they have important work to do. And until he picks up the gavel, until somebody picks up the gavel, the 118th United States House of Representatives is not meeting. It's only the 117th now. So the first order of business is to get him across the line.
And it's really indicative, it seems, of divisions now within the country and within the Republican Party itself. But, Joe, I would imagine that Democrats are kind of watching this all with a big smile on their face.
Oh, yeah, they can barely keep from laughing in their faces. On the other hand, you know, if you don't have a strong leadership in the Republican Party, Joe Biden isn't going to be able to cut any deals with the Republican leadership. You know, he's going to accomplish nothing in his last 2 years in office. He needed a strong leadership with which he could do bipartisan politics and that kind of thing. You know, you got to keep the armed services running. You got to keep paying the debt to keep the debt ceiling down. You got to pay for government. You got to do all kinds of things. And these things just aren't happening right now because there's no agreement on who's running the show. And look, you got a lot of people putting pressure on Kevin McCarthy who don't look completely sane to me. They're making outrageous requests. This is a new generation of conservatives. They may not be exactly pro-Trump, but they are all mega Trump type people. They believe in the same kinds of things. And none of this is good for President Trump. I mean, if the Republican leadership cannot lead, then there's no way on earth that former President Trump can get reelected because people will just say there's no vote, there's no advantage to this.
Never a dull moment in U.S. politics. Joe Siracusa, as always. Good to get your thoughts. Thanks, Joe.